Absolutely nothing beats windshield time. Welcome back to Dan the Road Trip Guy, a podcast where we have candid conversations about life lessons learned on the road. I'm your host, Bimmer enthusiast and road trip extraordinaire, Dan Neal. And now, on to the show. Hey, I'm on a road trip today with a longtime friend of ours. We have known Robert Parish for over 2 decades. That's kind of crazy. I consider Robert this television industry professional because that's how I know him. And so, and he knows a bit about road trips, as we're going to find out here in the show. But Linda and I caught up with Robert in 2019 when we were on a fabulous road trip. We spent a few hours with him in his home in Portland. And so today I am on a road trip with Robert Parish. Unfortunately, I'm sitting in Cincinnati and he is on the road. So we're going to chat. Welcome to the show, Robert.
Thank you, Dan. Always a pleasure to hear your lovely dulcet tone.
Thank you so much. So I got this quirky thing, Robert. You know I love auto racing. I've loved auto racing, and you were a part of that way back when and with us.
Yep.
And anyway, I like to tell people, I'll give you a couple minutes to tell me, who is Robert Parish? And people go, well, why do I only get 2 minutes? And I'm like, well, it's sort of a warm-up lap around one of my favorite racetracks, Mid-Ohio, in Ohio. So I figure it's kind of like an elevator pitch. So we're going to strap in the car, and you're going to tell me, you're going to tell my listeners, who is Robert Parish?
All right. Well, I'm going to start from the very beginning, okay? I was born in New Jersey way back in the 50s, and I grew up there, and I went to college in Cincinnati, and then I moved from Cincinnati to Washington, D.C., where I discovered the joys of broadcasting. I was in grad school at the American University, and I was walking around the campus, and I thought I was going to be a psychologist, and I ended up seeing the radio tower. I walked in the radio station, and that was it. The place smelled I don't know, it's one of those, it was really, I think I could be accurate saying it was a spiritual experience. And I know you're a spiritual man. We're different in that way, how we practice. But what I can tell you is that I just felt something magical just walking in the door. And so I asked the receptionist, I was really an articulate 22-year-old, and I said, hey, can students do radio shows here? and she said, oh yeah, sure. And next thing I knew, I was getting trained. I started doing a weekly radio show, and that radio show got the attention of some people, strangely enough, at ABC News in Washington, D.C. Somebody wrote an article about a show I did. The guy called me up. I went down there and I got a job.
What was the show about?
The show, what was it called? The Sealed Beam. and strangely enough, like when I figured out I had to name a show, I was walking around Georgetown and I was looking at cars, which is something we both love to do, obviously. And I saw a headlight, and the headlight underneath it said Sealed Beam. And I'm like, what a great name for a radio show, because I think they don't have sealed beam headlights anymore. I don't even know what it means. But I do know that caught my attention on that day. So I did that radio show for like 7 years and connected up with ABC, where I worked for 7 years, freelanced for NPR for 7, well, actually longer than that, because I did stuff for them later after I moved back to Ohio. So that was broadcasting, and I just got lucky, I just was, every time I was in the right place at the right time. And, my ABC experience was, the network news is obviously a lot different than it used to be, because there were only basically 3 networks then. There was ABC, NBC, and CBS. So we were covering everything, and I was lucky enough to go on campaigns, cover presidents, Watergate, Washington Redskins. But at that point I had gotten married, and, I think I understood why my then wife was kind of like, why are you gone all the time? You're working so much. And we had 2 little kids. And so I moved out here. I moved out to Olympia, Washington. I'm going on too long, right? I feel like I've blown postpone the elevator speech.
Yeah,
but,
we'll take 2 laps. How about that? We'll go
all
around
right,
2
two
laps.
laps. So I was in Olympia, Washington, running the communications shop for the Washington State Legislature, which was a real interesting trip. And the marriage just, kind of went where it went. And ultimately, I ended up coming back to Cincinnati, Ohio, which, as you know, is a place that I dearly love. And, started working at Channel 9. If people from Cincinnati are listening to this, they'll know the name Al Shadowcotty. I was his producer for a couple of years. And then I think it was 1989. I'm like, wow, there's a lot going on here. I'm going to just go freelance. And I did, and did a lot of news stuff, did stuff at CET, did stuff for Procter & Gamble, and then once my daughter graduated from high school, I told her that I was going to move out here with where my 2 sons are. And so I did. And then, Portland, same drill, working TV, doing radio, making videos for nonprofits. I've got a documentary out on PBS right now that's doing really well. So there you go. I'm exhausted.
Well,
You talk.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, what kind of car we riding in today?
We are riding in a 2013 Volkswagen Golf, 2.5 liters.
Oh, because
and it's black. It's black, and it's the first car. You'll appreciate this. The first car that I'd ever owned that was built in the 21st century.
I love it.
I went from. I became kind of later in my life a Saab aficionado, and I'm sure remember the Saabs.
I remember the Saabs. Yeah.
And so I got out here and I found this perfect Saab 9000 SE Turbo 5-speed for like $2,000. And I thought, this car is going to be great. And it was until it wasn't. It just, as probably most of your listeners know, Saab is no longer in business. And I finally had, after fixing things that could be fixed, because every Saab owner has to have a really great mechanic who knows where to find parts, especially these days, because they're not easy to find. And I forget what it was that blew up, but I took it, or actually I didn't take it. I had it towed to this mechanic guy that I've been working with for several years. And he called me up one day and he said, I can't do anything more. I said, okay. So we donated, it became an organ donor for other Saabs.
All right. That's okay.
And yeah, so I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? And I had loved I had a number of Volkswagens, including 2 Volkswagen buses when I was in my hippie stages. And I thought, well, I'll go down and look at a Golf. And I did. And I was like, okay, it's a good ride. It had 67,000 miles on it and was owned, according to Carfax, by, a woman in her 80s who only drove it to the grocery store and church.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. So you mentioned we're someplace cool. We're driving because I'm here in Cincinnati. So I wish I was sitting in the passenger seat with you.
Yeah, this is also the first car. It's worth pointing out that I've had in the longest time that has an automatic transmission.
Oh, I don't know if I can ride with you.
I know, but it has a sport mode, which I'm planning to show off during our trip. Because the sport mode, it has, drive, plus you can do fake stick shift stuff with it, but the sport mode is where it's at. But in order for me to effectively, all right, I'm going to start driving now.
Okay.
I don't have a backup camera, which...
Yeah, don't hit anybody because I don't have any liability insurance for this or anything. So.
Well, I got to tell you, man, I am in this parking lot where, again, I'm going to just divulge as we go along. It's a parking lot of what one might call a big discount superstore. And I am here specifically to purchase gasoline.
Okay.
And the reason that I come here is because, I know gas is expensive They're in Ohio, expensive compared to what it used to be. But here in Oregon, just to give you an idea, on the way over here, I drove by, a bunch of gas stations, as you always do. And the average price, I was doing research to prepare for this extraordinary opportunity, is about $5.78 a gallon.
Ouch.
That's the average price here right now. And so I am coming to this certain place. You probably have already figured out where I am, because they have the cheapest gas in, as we call it, the Beaver State. And so I am now in a long line because people come here, you can buy anything in this particular store that I'm talking about.
Is this one of those membership places?
It is one of these membership places.
We're ad-free, but we occasionally give a shout-out to people. So I think we could give a shout-out to, I assume you're probably at Costco, but that's just a guess. I don't know.
That is a really good guess. I am sitting here in the Costco parking lot, and I am we're going to probably end up doing the whole show from me sitting here in line. I can't quite tell if I'm in a line for, letting people go by with shopping carts full of, water and beverages. The guy's walking by right now. He's got my favorite, the Kirkland tissues. But I can't quite tell where I am in the scheme of things, because the gas station here at this Costco is right near one of the entrances. And so people, it's just this jam up. They should put a traffic light there. Wow. Really, because and then hopefully, even though people in Oregon are generally, chill and liberal, of course.
Can't be why you moved there, right? I don't think.
No, nothing. I know. I had nothing to do with that. But maybe we'll hear some horn honking, some road rage. I almost feel like I've got the air conditioning on. I feel like maybe I should, once I get closer, I'll put down.
Okay.
I'll put down the windows, and you can hear all of the excitement. So so I'm at Costco getting gas, and I am here specifically to get gas because I would predict that gas here is hopefully under $5 a gallon.
Oh wow!
That would be a miracle, but I'm hoping it's going to be under. Imagine filling up a Volkswagen for $75. Hello.
It's crazy.
I know.
Hey, I was thinking. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was thinking back. Oh no, what were you going to say? What?
I just want to know what your per gallon cost is in the lovely state of Ohio.
Well, we're driving these BMWs around, which take premium.
Right.
And so this morning it was down to $5.53.
$5.53 for premium?
Yeah, and it was $5.99 recently. So. No
kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
That's I figured you'd be like down around $4.50, but I guess not.
No, we haven't seen. Even regular was over $5 a gallon. Diesel's like $6, I think I saw.
Yeah. Diesel. I passed a diesel, sign on the way here, and it was $6.88.
Hey, you mentioned coming back to Cincinnati, and I think that's how. Certainly our daughters were in school together, and that's how we met somewhere along the way. But the one show that, is always in my mind of Robert Parish was In the Tank. And again, one of those names, you talked about Sealed Beam. I mean, that's so cool. But In the Tank. Tell us a little bit about In the Tank.
Oh, man. I thought it's another one of those things where I thought this is a really good name for a television program. And In the Tank actually started, I did a cross-country road trip with my camera by myself in 2000. And I, at that time, and I still don't know why, I had just bought a PT Cruiser.
Oh, I remember the PT Cruiser very well.
It's like, that's like just just go ahead and scream midlife crisis when you're driving around, right? That's the way I feel about it now. But I was driving, and the idea was to do just find things that I liked. And I got this from Al Shuttlecutty, because when I was producing with him, we would always just drive around Cincinnati, and we would see things that we thought were going to be interesting. You know, we call them in the business like soft feature stories. And so we did that. We used to drive around in one of the Channel 9, cars with a cameraman, and we'd see something and we'd go, oh, let's just show up here and see if there's a story. And, Al was very well known. So usually when he showed up at somebody's place of business, they were like, oh my God, it's Al Shuttlecutty. And so we would always get the story if there was one. But I decided that I would do that with the PT Cruiser. And so I went from Cincinnati to, Oklahoma City, then across down to New Mexico, and then up to Colorado, and then up to Wyoming. And so I ended up, and I went through Iowa, which was one of my favorite stories, because I went to the Field of Dreams and did a story about that. Anyway, so I got back to Cincinnati and made a thing for PBS, and it aired in some locations. It wasn't like the huge big hit I thought it was going to be. But then I've been doing work for CET. Don't hit me, mister. Don't hit me. Ah, all right. Hey, did you hear my horn?
I did.
Oh,
yeah, that's great.
This Infinity almost ran into me. I am now in the gas line. Oh, and I just cut in front of a truck. Did you hear that? Sorry.
I heard that. Wow.
Oh, my God. Sorry,
People
dude.
are not friendly there, eh?
Well, it's gas, man. I feel like I should get out. Oh, pickup truck drivers. Sorry, dude. Oh, this is going to be good. You want me to... I'm sorry. Do you want me to just did it? What you were doing. I'm so sorry.
Go wait your turn. I've been here for over half an hour.
I'm sorry, dude. I had no idea. Okay. Hey, Dan, there's some local color for you. What do you think?
Nothing like a road trip.
I know. And these guys, okay, so I'm gonna go out. Thank you. You guys are awesome. You could have had, so this guy, do you know who, do you ever follow WWE?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin right there. I'm not kidding. He was like, so I'm going to go back around. I promised you some local color. There you go. And he's been waiting for a half hour, and he had a pickup truck, and wow. Okay,
You should have said, hey, talk to my co-driver, Dan the road trip guy, and you'll be on the podcast.
I'm going back to the end of the line now, because I don't know what just happened, but I'm glad that you're rolling and that you got that.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew we
would have such an adventure today?
Now you're sure you didn't stage that, right? Because I know you pretty well.
No, that was not. I mean, could you hear the man use profanity when he was talking to me?
How am I going to do that now? My show's clean. I've got it checkmarked as clean.
Bleep it out, or what I do, and I don't know how. Well, it sounds like you haven't really gotten into the editing thing. You can either put a bleep there, kind of a beep, or what we do in radio is we make the word go backward.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's way beyond my skills, Robert. So
yeah. So, you could just leave it on there and see what see if anybody says. Yeah. Okay, I'm back where I started before I cut that guy off. And I did cut him off, and not only that, my gas tank is this is funny, man. This is almost like being on a real road trip. I love this.
Very close.
So my gas tank is on the left side, I think. Now I'm all confused. I don't even know where my gas tank is. But I was on the wrong side. I was positioned at the wrong pump. And so I really wanted to move anyway. And this guy is still sitting in line. And I'm just going to say this. This is not a political statement, but he has a big American flag on the back of his truck window.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
He's patriotic, right?
He's very, very, very patriotic, and like I said, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
Hey, you're in a German car, so your gas should be on the right side. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it is. Wait, I'm looking now. I don't know I don't know. I've totally fallen apart. But again, we always say that, when unexpected things happen, it makes better radio or TV.
Yeah.
So you got it. This is going to win you an award, my friend.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, hey, we talked about a lot of cars. I don't remember. Well, I don't know because I didn't know you back then. What was your first car?
Oh, man. I was just talking about this car to a friend of mine earlier this week. I had a 1967 Chevelle SS 396.
Oh, wow.
Just the kind of car you want to put in the hands of a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, one you should have kept too, in case you don't know that.
Oh God, yeah, that's for sure. I saw one on one of those. What is it, Meekham's Auto Auction? I saw one of those on there. I don't know, about a year ago, and it was $130,000. And I've had that thought often because I remember somehow I convinced my parents that it was a good idea for me to have this car, and my father worked for a big company, and they had an allowance for him to have a business car. And I convinced them that this would be a really good business car. You don't have to drive it, Dad. I'll take care of it. But, if they're going to pay for it, what do you think? And I don't know why he said yes, but he did. And that car was scary fast and scary dangerous. It did get wrecked. Not by me, though, strangely enough. A girl that I was dating, I thought she, liked me mostly because I had a cool car, I think.
Right.
And she said, "Can I drive it?" And I said, "Yeah, but you got to be really, really careful." And it was a 4-speed, of course. And she just decided to punch it in first gear just to see what that would be like. And it was a really bad idea. And she lost control of the car and hit 3 parked cars.
Oh, my.
Thankfully, no one was injured, but I'm just checking on my friend. I'm back in the major Costco line.
Make sure you stay behind him this time. Okay?
Oh, yeah, he's like 5 cars ahead of me. He's now getting his gas, so he'll be much happier. Will you send me a clip of that, by the way? I want to play that for people because everybody, I just want to show how a good pacifist deals with an aggressor.
Yeah, there you go.
Like
it's a road trip. You know what? That's a road trip lesson. Yeah, road trip lesson.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway, the Chevelle was my first car, and it got wrecked. And I thought, well, maybe I need to, not be in a car that's so crazy fast. So I paid for this one myself. I got a Volkswagen Bug.
Okay.
And that was great until I took my girlfriend at the time. I still love to go to the drag strip. I haven't been in a long time, but we used to go to this place in New Jersey called Raceway Park. And the meet went on for a little while, and then it started to rain, and then it got rained out, and, it was the usual thing. You're on these slick roads. There's oil stains everywhere. This is the way I like to tell the story. It's like there was a pickup truck in front of me that slammed on its brakes. I had plenty of time, but there was oil in the road, I'm sure, and I slid right into him. So that was pretty much the end of the Bug because, there was no engine in the front, and the front end was crushed. And I thought, I can't drive a car like this. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
And so that took care of. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, back to the Chevelle. So did the Chevelle get repaired, or did just?
It did. Yes, it did. And amazingly enough, I'll tell you. I'll give you another plug for a great company. The reason that I still have Amica car insurance is because of the way they handled that. They paid for the other 3 cars. Okay, I'm waving. This lady doesn't look so dangerous. She's in a Honda Civic.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's pretty rough out here in Oregon. So, yeah, got it repaired, but, it was just never the same. I know a lot of people, it's certainly been my experience. If you have an accident, and the front end is messed up. It was just never the same. So I ended up I'm pretty sure I must have just traded it in partially for the Volkswagen Bug. They probably gave me like, I don't know, $500 for it, because I remember the Bug was $1,800. Yeah. So, and then from there I went back into the hot rod category, the muscle car category, and got myself a 1969 Z28 Camaro.
Oh, nice.
Now that was a car, man. That thing was that was an extraordinary, unlike the Chevelle, that was just basically a, family car where they stuck in a big engine. The Z28 was really built for speed, and it was that car was just a pleasure to drive. And I drove the heck out of it. It fell apart. I think it had about 90,000 miles on it. And then, my life was changing again, and I thought, well, it'd be really cool to get a Volkswagen bus. So I got a Volkswagen bus, and that was I took the Z28 a lot between Ohio and upstate New York and New Jersey, but I had never been across the country, and the bus was really my first super road trip car, super being lots of miles.
Oh, wow.
And I drove that it was between my, I think, sophomore and junior years in college. A friend of mine came down from upstate New York, and we had a garage sale at my parents' house to fund it. And we ended up driving from Cincinnati to San Jose, California, and then up to Olympia, Washington, where I had an aunt and an uncle who I dearly loved, and who, ultimately I think are responsible for me developing a love of the Pacific Northwest. So I did that, and then went back to Ohio, went back to school, and the next summer took it again. I went more south, like down through Texas and over to New Mexico, and then California. Oh yeah, I also went to Tucson, Arizona, where I had another friend who was in college at the University of Arizona, and then, of course, ended back up in Washington State, and then went back and finished out college, and then I took it one more time across the country after that, and ended up in Olympia, Washington, Seattle area.
Oh, wow. You've mentioned a lot of cars, and as I was chatting with my daughter when I did kind of the kickoff of this crazy thing, every car, I would end every car, she'd be like, "What'd you do?" And I'd be like, "I should have kept that car. I should have kept that car. I should have kept that car and that car."
I know.
And
I know. What's let me just turn the tables on you. What's the car that you had that you really, really regret getting rid of?
It's kind of a long list. I for whatever crazy reason, not the crazy reason I bought it. I bought a Jeep as my first car, a CJ5, Golden Eagle. So I had a big eagle on the hood. Yeah, it was limited edition Jeep. So, and for some crazy reason, I don't know why, I sold it. Much later in life, I mean, it's probably 20 years later, maybe, even more than that, 25 years later. Wow. And I don't know. And it's like every day I kind of kick myself. It's like, oh, I'd really like to have that car back. And then there's the BMW, a little 320 that we drove across the country from San Jose back to Cincinnati just for fun. And kind of wish I had that. And there's just a long list of them. But anyway, they're cars and got great memories of them, just like you have great memories of yours. So that's kind of how.
Absolutely. I think about it. So much of my, I guess, memory anchors. My memory anchors are very tied into the cars I had at the time, and of course I have, like you probably do, and like many of your listeners probably do, I have pictures of every car. There was always like a moment where I'm like, I have to take a photo of this. And I wish I had more of the Z28 than I do. But I don't know. I love cars. I love driving. Even here at Costco gas stations, where thank God the guy didn't have a gun.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Hey, so we talked about you mentioned a lot of road trips.
Yeah.
Is there so was your family into road trips when you were growing up? Is that where the love affair came from?
No. We went. I remember. So growing up in New Jersey, there were places that people would go, like upstate New York. I went to camp in Massachusetts for many years, and so we did those kind of trips, but we never did anything more than, say, 5 or 6 hours. It's just something, when I really, really think about it, and it wasn't a car road trip that really inspired me, but it was the movie Easy Rider.
Okay.
It was two guys going across the country on motorcycles. But I just thought that would be cool to just get out. And so when I used to go between Cincinnati and New Jersey, that was on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which I always found a really fun road to drive fast on. I'm pulling up to the gas pump here. Uh-oh. I want to make sure I'm not cutting anybody off.
No, we don't want any more incidents on the show.
Oh, this is so good. Wait till you hear. So you're going to hear a little more sound effects here. Hi, how you doing? Good. Could you fill it with regular, please? Uh-huh. So we'll see how this works out, Dan. But
you don't pump your own gas?
Oh, that's another interesting thing about Oregon. No. No, except in rural areas, you have to let someone else pump your gas here.
Oh,
and
wow.
I believe Oregon and New Jersey and maybe Maine are places where, if I got out of the car here at Costco, not only would somebody get mad at me again, but I could be arrested for pumping my own gas.
Oh, wow. I do remember that up in New Jersey. I bought a BMW up there a couple years ago. I stopped to get gas. I'm headed out of town. The car needed gas. And so I stop and there's this guy sitting there, and I'm like,
yeah.
And I get out and he walks over and I'm like, yeah, can I help you? And he goes, I got it. And I'm like, okay. And so, because growing up in the family grocery store, we pumped everybody's gas. We didn't have self-serve.
Right. It used to be, and I think here, I don't know exactly. You could probably look this up on Google, but I don't know when self-service gas started. But I worked in a gas station for like a couple weeks back when I was in high school, and didn't do a very good job on people's windows apparently. But the whole thing in New Jersey, it was around. I don't want to say the mafia, but I guess I just did. It was about organized crime, and the way they ran the gas stations. That was so fast. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're good. All right, you too. Okay, I'll get back to that if you want to. If not, it's no big deal. But here in Oregon, it's all about the people are especially trained not to let fumes go into the air. It's all about air quality. So I'm going to give you a report. I'm going to get out of the gas station, and I'm still looking for the pickup truck guy to see if he's left the parking lot because I don't want to see him again. All right, so I'll give you the gas report from Costco in a place called Tigard, Oregon. I got 11.989 gallons. The price, better than I expected, $4.75.
Wow.
My total amount for filling up my little Volkswagen, $57.06.
That's not bad, right? Today.
Yeah, really, not bad at all. So I'm gonna take that. And
of course, now we could make a joke that you drove 50 miles to get there. So there.
Well, I did. I drove. Well, hopefully the next stop, if I don't see the guy in the truck, we'll make the next car-related stop, and we'll have about 10 minutes till I get to this very special opportunity which I hope none of your previous guests have taken you on this kind of magical mystery tour to car-related places that are my favorite. I love getting gas. At least I did until today.
Now you have trauma.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. That's good. So, anyway, please continue on. Do you have additional questions?
Oh,
because I can ramble.
Well, no, I wish I was there. So, you've been a lot of places. I know that.
Yep.
just these few trips you've mentioned. There's a lot of places. Is there any place? We'll keep it to the U.S. just in case there's some place you haven't been. And if you've been everywhere, then we'll expand from there. But any place on your bucket list that I want to drive here?
This just came up the other day because we being my significant other and I are trying out a camper van. And so we still haven't, made the big decision, but we were talking about, places that we'd both like to go and drive there. And Alaska keeps coming up. I've never been to Alaska. It's from here. I mean, it's a long drive. You can drive there from here. And you go up I forget what the road is called, but I think it has the word Alaska in it. And from the tip of Washington State, all of the drive would be through Canada. But I think it would be really fun to drive to Alaska and just, do a camping kind of thing around there. Canada to I have some dear friends who have a condo up in this place called, oh God, I'm getting I'm too old and I can't remember names as well as I used to, but it's near Vancouver, British Columbia, and spending time you said to keep it to the United States, and now I'm talking about Canada. So scratch that.
Well, that's okay. We got to drive through Canada to get still in the United States.
Right.
Alaska.
So Alaska is definitely at the top of my list. I also, I've been pretty much all through California. We took a road trip about a month ago all around Oregon. Northern California is a place that I love to go to, and there's so much of it that California is obviously a huge state. Oh, I just got cut off by a Tesla. Oh God, there's another pickup truck. Yikes. Jesus. Sorry, didn't mean to curse there.
Stay in the right lane. Stay in the right lane.
Yeah, okay. I'm in the, all right. So, but I think, and I would like to spend more time in Michigan, because when I lived in Cincinnati, I loved going to northern Michigan. Iowa is another place that I really feel connected to. I can't explain why. And New England is a place that we go every summer, but I haven't really explored Maine all that much. Okay. So those are the ones that when I went on that one road trip and went through the South, I really found that fascinating and interesting and wonderful in a lot of ways. And the one place, and you probably have already talked to people who've said this, New Orleans, I'd love to go back there and just spend more time around Louisiana and getting a sense of the place that I don't have. There are, of course, if you want to ask me the states that I never want to go back to, I'm happy to. But wait a second, I promise you this. I'm going into sport mode, right? Making a freeway approach. And I hope you can hear this powerful 2.5 liter engine. Here we go. You hear that? Does that sound like anything?
I hear it. Yeah, that's good.
That's like 0 to 60 in about, 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Now my car smells funny. What's going to happen next? Yeah. So, I mean, just the United States is such a, this. I mean, it's such a beautiful place, and there are so many, just all of it. I mean, there's no bad place to go in the U.S. It's a beautiful country. It's so big. The diversity of people is, we just saw at Costco, or Costco, it's pretty extraordinary. And the roads. I mean, think about the roads that the interstates, but yet at the same time, part of my road trip that I did in 2000. Have you ever been on Route 66, the old Route 66?
Yep, been there. Yep.
Oh man, that is so cool.
66 and then Route 50. You know, you lived on US Route 50. 50's my favorite stretch of road out through Utah and Nevada into California.
You've done that? I always wanted to do that. We were but that speaks to the the non-interstates. We were at the Oregon coast about a month ago, and there was a place in Oregon called another name I can't remember, but right outside of this town, they have a sign that says Boston, 3,150 miles.
That's great.
And but this road, whatever it's, I think it's US 26. This road goes all the way from this beautiful place in Oregon to Boston. So,
well, I got to put that on the list then. So you should go down to Sacramento, pick up Route 50. It'll take you through Tahoe. It will take you through Nevada. It'll take you through Utah into Colorado. Then I typically get back on the interstate there, but I still want to make the whole 50 from our home here in Cincinnati out to Sacramento. And then I'd like to go the other way, east also. So maybe someday I'll go east to west or something. I don't know. It's just a fun road. There's a stretch of road there where, because Linda and I were on it, and you can look from one end to the other, and you can literally see the other end of the hill. And I thought, I wonder how far that is. Well, it was 12 miles. It was 12 miles.
Wow.
So I just kept clocking it. It was like really weird. So
that's what are you driving now, by the way?
I have a 2007 BMW 3 Series.
Nice.
I bought it last couple of years ago, I guess. But yeah.
So have you had anything since other than BMW since I've known you?
Yeah, I drove some Pathfinders for a while when we were doing our kart racing. We needed something to pull the trailer, so I bought old Pathfinders 2003, 2004, and I loved the Pathfinder. Nissan didn't seem to quite get the preventative rust thing, so they typically rusted away on you quite rapidly.
That's a bummer.
Was that PT Cruiser? Hey, was that PT Cruiser a manual? I can't remember.
Was it what?
Manual or automatic?
Yeah, actually, I special ordered it from Jeff Weiler, Chevrolet Dodge or whatever. I guess
here you go, promoting more people on my ad-free podcast.
I know.
Well, we'll give a shout out to Jeff Weiler here in Cincinnati.
Good old Jeff.
Yeah.
Who may still own. I knew Jeff kind of well when I lived there, and he had a Lamborghini.
Oh, wow.
And I never rode in it, but my father did. And my father told me that he was very scared.
Oh, so what was I going to ask you? Oh, the PT Cruiser, was it purple?
No, it was red.
Red,
I got the red one.
Yeah.
And I special ordered it because at that point in my life, was not ready to give up on driving a stick, and it was a 5-speed. I mean, I joke about it now, but and I understand why I got it, but it was like a 60,000 mile car before, and then everything just started to go bad.
Sure.
And so I just was like, well, it's time to move on from this. And I think at that point I got, what did I get? I got a Saab. Duh. Okay. That's easy.
Yeah. Another Saab, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Chrysler, I don't know, in those days, they didn't quite have that quality assurance down. So.
Yeah. But it was, it was a fun little car to drive. And I got it right when they came out. So I think it was a 2000 or 2001. And I got a lot of attention, which is something I don't mind getting, as you know.
Right.
But it was every place driving it around the country every time I stopped because it was such a unique car, and not very many people had seen one in person. Yeah, it was an attention getter, and the fact that it was red, of course, was also helped with people noticing it.
Yeah. How are we doing on our travel to our next place?
All right, I am in the right area. I am probably 5 minutes away.
Okay.
Here's another pickup truck.
No, stay away from the pickup truck.
I'm really worried.
Here's a question for you as we travel along here.
Yeah.
You could go on a road trip with anyone. Let's say alive or dead. You know, if you could have gone on a road trip with them before they died, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I'd rather have the person not be a corpse.
Okay, but you lived in a different time and space or whatever, and
yeah.
So now you're going on this road trip with anyone. Who would it be?
Well, I think we've established
besides me, right?
Besides you.
Besides me.
You know, I've been lucky in my career to meet a lot of really interesting people, but the encounters were always fleeting. You know, whenever I would meet somebody, it would be to interview them, or it would only be for a few minutes. And I would have to say Muhammad Ali. I was lucky enough to meet him when I worked at ABC. I forget what he came on Good Morning America, and I had like 5 minutes with him right outside the studio where he was just awesome. I mean, just being around him, whether you're a fan or not, he was a great human being. He really was, and I just would love to ride in a car with him for like 2 hours. He would be right at the top of the list, I think. And, you know, beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a hard call. I mean, I could say like Cameron Diaz. I don't know. I mean, I could go for the lady aspects of it, but I think I don't know. You know, I've taken great road trips with both male and females, and so I'm not going to say something really chauvinistic like, well, men are better, you know, road tripping with each other. How do you feel about that? I'm going to put you on it. Well, you have your wife to road trip with. Never mind.
Yeah.
Your wife's so amazing. Your wife's so amazing. I'd like to road trip with you and Linda. How's that?
We could do that. Yeah, we could do that.
You know, like I was so jealous when you guys came out here because you'd emailed me the loop of your trip, and you were able to stop by, and I felt very blessed and thankful that you did that. And then I thought, I want to go. Come on, man, I want to go. So we'll figure it out. I mean, I think there's still hopefully lots of time for those sorts of things to happen.
I hope so. I'm mapping out more road trips. Do you remember? I don't know if she followed my road trip suggestion or not. Do you remember Mary Beth Camise from here, Marymount?
Yes,
strings teacher.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, well, we happened to see her, I don't know, a month or so ago. She was passing through here, and she was going out west to do a road trip in Montana. And I'm like, oh, no, here's what you have to do. And so I quickly got on Google Maps, and I drew out a road trip. And of course, it looked like a lap because, you know, it's got to look like a lap because it's like a race, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I did see a post from her where she did end up down in the what is that called? The Giants America. That strip down in California where all the big redwoods are at. Avenue of Giants.
Oh,
Avenue of Giants.
Yeah, Avenue of the Giants.
And she posted that, and I'm like, well, she wasn't going there, and that was on my road trip, so maybe she made it there. So. But
yeah. That's. I mean, as you know, that is. We were just there actually about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
You know, that's. But you know, it gets to this whole. You know, speaking about road trips, the stuff that one encounters. I mean, just the Avenue of the Giants, the redwoods, so many of the mountains that you see out here. It's magical, and these are things that are they're important to see. I think it's important to go out and experience this amazing country because there's so much here to, appreciate and love, and it will touch you. You know what I mean?
For sure. And that's
if you let it.
Yeah, for sure. And when we were coming through your state out there, a friend of mine reached out and he goes, "Hey, I see your road trip there and you're going up toward Portland. You really ought to get off the beaten path there and go see Crater Lake." And so I quickly made a change and we went to Crater Lake, and oh my gosh, that was magnificent.
Yeah, that's just one. It's the only national park in Oregon, believe it or not. But it's spectacular.
Yeah,
it's so good. Okay, so since I'm almost at the next car-related location, you might want to think, well, I better learn how to edit after.
Yeah, I'm thinking I was going to keep all my podcasts to like 32 minutes because I figure people get bored. So we're up to, I don't know, 55 minutes or so. But hey,
yeah,
it's kind of difficult when you get old friends together on a road trip.
Oh, absolutely. I just hope you figure out a way to keep that little segment in of my near-death experience at the Costco.
Oh, that's staying in, and I'll figure out that bleeping thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, wow, okay, Robert's going to get injured here live on the podcast. So,
well, the next stop hopefully won't be as dangerous.
I hope not.
Now, I'm almost there, so I'm going to give you a little preview of what's happening. So I'm driving through the beautiful little town where I live, where you've been, called Lake Oswego, Oregon.
Oh, yes.
And we're known for a few things. We're known for this beautiful lake, which is really fun we have kayaks. We go out on the lake, and it's awesome. And there's lots of great restaurants here. But one of the things that's been in Lake Oswego the longest, as far as I know, I've lived here for almost 11 years, is this particular place where people bring their cars. And it's always busy, rain or shine. How am I doing? You getting an idea of what I'm talking about here?
I'm with you, yes.
All right, so I'm pulling up on it now. I see the sign that says entrance. And this is going to be a bit of an experiment. Okay, there's 4 cars out in the free vacuuming area right now. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the vacuuming because, that wouldn't sound good on the radio or in a podcast. But I am pulling up today to the Caddy Car Wash, patented technology for a shine like new. And I haven't washed my car in a long time. It's a beautiful sunny day here. And I'm going to get a $15 advanced ultimate car wash.
Oh,
now the caddy people are great because they've got all these hand signals and signs and conserving water, protecting the environment, it says. And so I'm pulling forward, and a man is about to come to the window. Going to neutral. All right. I would like an ultimate, please.
Need a receipt?
No.
You have that space, you just put it in the middle?
Oh, I messed up. Okay.
Go ahead and remove.
All right. Just do me a favor, will you?
Yeah.
Say, hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
That's Dan.
Oh, Dan or Dan?
Dan.
Yeah.
Yes. Dan. We're doing a podcast right now.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to see if it works in the car wash. Thanks, man. All right. Has anybody gone through a car wash with you before?
No, this is going to be a first.
Now, I'm assuming, I don't know this for sure, I'm assuming we're not going to lose signaling.
I don't think so. Hope not.
But this is it's a touchless car wash that is on this very, busy road coming into Lake Oswego. And there are several of these cars, this is a chain of car washes, and there are several. You hear that, huh? This sucker's getting clean. Woo!
Yeah, I could still hear it. Now, do they wipe it down for you, or is this pretty much a drive-through and you're done?
You drive through, but it's got this super air-blowing thing, right? And it's So we're in the super soak flat thing now, and we're coming up the front and getting taken care of right now. And this car, despite all of the keys, when I bought it, I got a good price on it because it had been keyed several times, and I haven't taken care of those yet. But it still looks great when it's clean. Now I'm going under some very mysterious orange light.
Yeah, I've never quite figured out what those are. It's like, what are they doing to my car?
I have no idea. So we're going through. There they are again. Strange orange lights. Now this is the drying. Hear that?
Yeah, I can't hear it a lot, but yeah, I know what you're
I'll
doing.
roll down the window.
Okay.
Now?
Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, but it's amazing how this blower really gets most of this stuff off. And if anybody out there listening is interested, this car washer, I go giving another plug for a business, is hiring. The sign right here says $19 to $22 an hour.
Oh my goodness.
It's not bad.
No. There you go.
But my car is so clean now.
Perfect.
So, there you go. That's it. Car
That's
wash.
Perfect. Car wash, Costco.
Without incident.
Yeah, without incident. We didn't cut anybody off. So, all right, Robert, I've appreciated your time, but before we go, you've still got a lot of stuff going on. So I want you to tell my listeners, how do they find you? How do they listen to you? How do they see your stuff?
Wow. Well, so I get to plug myself now.
Well, you do. Yes.
Sorry, I'm a little freaked out because my windshield is so clean. Like, what just happened? The best way to see anything I'm up to is to go to the following website. It would be Right Field Features. That's all one word with Right spelled WRITE fieldfeatures.org. And that is like my homepage for all the video stuff that I do, all of there's not much audio there. I think there is a link to my podcast, which is called Filling the Air with Words. And unlike yours, it's not necessarily in the clean category. But rightfieldfeatures.org is the main place. I'm on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, but I think Right Field Features takes everybody to everything.
Yeah.
There's even pictures of me on there again when I had hair.
So, what? You had hair?
I did. You believe it?
No.
I mean, that was pretty. I don't either. Yeah, look at you, mister. I've still got hair at my age.
Yeah, it's kind of thin in the front, so.
Oh, God. You look great, though. And I hope you noticed that when I see pictures of you just had like an anniversary, right? Or birthday. There was some.
No, I guess I was premature and I confused people. So Linda and I'll be married 40 years on August the 7th.
Oh, boy.
But it was, I don't know. I posted something about we were coming up on 40 years and it was some significant day. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact why I posted that, but anyway, yeah, we've got that coming up, and so we're going to go up to our favorite city, Chicago, and hang out for a couple days, and then we're supposed to take a road trip down through the Southwest, so we've not done that, so hopefully we'll pull that off. So.
Where are you going in the Southwest?
I don't know. Our first thought was to fly into Denver, travel down to Santa Fe, Albuquerque, maybe then head back up to Moab and circle back around to Denver, but haven't firmed that one up yet. So, my friend,
well, let me know.
Yeah, my friend, it's my honor to always chat with you.
No, it's mine, and please give my love to your amazing wife. 40 years. I tell people this all the time. You guys are like one of the coolest couples I've ever known, and I'm so glad that you found each other like in high school, right?
High school. Yeah, high school.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. How can anybody be that lucky? That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm lucky.
But I think it's amazing, and Lauren and Henry too. Lauren especially, because as we noted at the beginning of this conversation, that's how we got to meet each other, was through our amazing daughters. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, you be careful continuing your drive without me, and don't cut anybody off, okay?
Yeah, especially at a Costco gas station. Thanks, Dan. This has been super fun.
Yep.
And I've just pulled in my driveway.
Perfect. It was a great road trip.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, friends.
All right.
Okay.
You take care.
Bye now.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dan the Road Trip Guy, and we look forward to having you back again next time. In the meantime, if you want to find me, you can find me on the internet at Danny, D-A-N-N-Y, Neal, Neal.com. Until we meet up again, keep having conversations and keep driving.